how did you get into it and all that? You know what I'm saying? Like how was the experience, to start off, interpreting this role and, bringing it to life.
Hmm. Okay. So obviously it came about with like any other audition. I got an email for it. And as you know, we don't actually go into auditions anymore. So I sent in a self-tape. And when I was reading it, I was already familiar with the story. I thought it was really interesting and I had followed it when it first came out. And then when I booked it, obviously I was super excited. And then that's when I started to do my research and a deep dive into who Shayana is and who Aaron is. So a big part of my research was, first of all, trying to figure out why she was so loyal to him and why she loved him so much. So then I began to watch, his game tapes to see, because I don't follow football, to see how big of a deal he was. And this man was extremely talented. And then in his interviews, he's very charming and witty and silly. So I could see why she liked him there. And then I did a deep dive into like who she is, right? And she was just a normal high school sweetheart girl that fell in love with the football player. She was a cheerleader. And honestly, the rest is history. But the preparation for the role was really challenging for me because I never played a character like this before. And I felt like I owed her my everything because obviously she still is alive and well. And I wanted to make sure that I represented her in a way that she would appreciate.
Did you get any kind of feedback from her, like, or did you consult, like, like any kind of did you consult her in any way to kind of like see how you could interpret, like, bring her life, to the screen, best way, or did you just go your own way?
I just went my own way because, again, I unfortunately I didn't get to speak with her, but she is a real person, and obviously this series it's not a documentary. It's up for interpretation. So whatever script I got, I tried to see if it aligned with me morally and with the choices I feel like she would have made. And then I just went from there. But I didn't get any like inside scoop on what she really thought about something. Hopefully one day we can have that conversation. But the way I took it was what I was given, and if I agreed upon it, then I would do it.
I love that. What was it like on set? Like dynamic with the other actors and all that type of thing. How do you, like how do you usually, like, not just for this production, like how do you usually like get on set and like, like, and just vibe out with the other actors and all that type of thing? Is there like
Mhm.
some kind of like a, creative state that you put yourself in? You know what I mean? Like how do you get on set and like, give it your all? Like what does that look like for you?
That's a good question. That is a really good question.
It's
Um,
musicians
it,
that get from the behind the scenes into the stage and everything starts off. You know what I mean? But like for actors, it's different because you don't have a audience in front of you and all that type of thing. So I feel like there might be like a different process internally for an actor. I don't know. Like you tell me, I guess. But
for me, my process is, well, first of all, my relationship with the other actors. I don't look up anybody I'm working with. I don't look them up. If I know who they are, then I already know who they are, but I don't do any research because I don't want it to change the way I feel when I go to set because sometimes it can make you a little bit nervous, a little bit intimidated. I'm the first to admit where I'm like, this person is Oscar winning, Jaylen. So I just try and keep that away from me, first of all. And then I look at the relationship that my character has with the other character in the series, and then I kind of act upon that when I'm on set. So, for example, um, my sister, her name is Kale in in real life. She's super talented. And I made sure that her and I went out together like at nighttime. We shared like a few secrets with each other so that way we could build a connection on screen that we know things about each other. And I could pick up on what maybe irritates her, what she likes, what she dislikes, so that way the audience can see a real genuine connection. So I make sure that when I'm on offset, I speak with my cast members in in alignment with what relationship we have with each other. So, for example, like Joshua, obviously he's playing a love interest. He's not my love interest in real life, but I needed to make sure that it came across as authentic that him and I had really good chemistry. So offset, him and I would chit chat. I would ask him like, "What's your favorite tattoo on you?" You know what I mean? Like just little cute, innocent questions, so that way I feel like I have some kind of attachment towards him because I have to look like I like him. I have to look like I care about him. And that's really important to me that it comes off authentic. And fortunately, it came off really well on the show. But I just made sure I treated him as a friend. And with Terry, obviously her and I kind of butt heads in the series. In real life, fortunately, it wasn't like that. But I can say that I kept my distance with her and just kept it a little bit quiet because I didn't need to know her and I didn't want to like her because she's a very likable person. So I made sure I kept it really professional with her. No secret sharing, but hopefully, like, when we meet up again one day, we can do that. Um, and I feel like in order to have a good set environment, the crew looks to you to set the tone. And this is a really deep project and it's really sad. So every day can be kind of grueling for 15 hours crying and witnessing somebody go through CTE and blah, blah, blah. But for me, I like to be on set and have fun because that's what we're here for. And if you're not going to have fun, it's going to be a long flipping day. So I make sure that I play music in between scenes. I'm chatting with, the cameraman, props, and just to keep the ambiance going so that way everybody is motivated to go to work. Because again, the cast members set the tone of how set will be. People could either make it miserable or you could make it really memorable and a great time. And fortunately, we had a really good group of cast members where we all made it fun. Josh is amazing to work with. He's an amazing leader. So it wasn't difficult for everybody to want to get to work and do a good job for each other.
I love that. Yeah, this is very valuable. Like I've never had any kind of I've interviewed actors and performers before, but I never had any like occasion to like discuss what like like a day on set looks like for one of you guys, you know. So this is
Yeah.
valuable
And
information.
people have their off days, people have bad days, but
Yeah,
again, if you're a leader on set, you cannot show others that you feel that way. You can't do it. You can't do it because there's 100 other people and they're having a bad day too. Um, and you just really feel like a jerk if you're getting water brought to you and your lunch brought to you and you're still having a bad day. Like that's like that's insane. So it's like you better stand up and lock your knees, buddy, because you're not performing heart surgery over here.
I love that. What kind of music do you play in between takes? In between, you know, you say you play music. What's the music that gets you in whatever mood you have to be in? You know what I mean? Like, do you have like specific playlists for this or that? Like, tell me about the music that you choose.
When it's a heavy day of crying, then I'm not playing music because I need to be in the space of being sad. So what I do is I usually just kind of sit by myself. But again, I'm a yapper. I'm a certified yapper, always have been. So it's a little bit hard for me to stick alone. But when I did play music, when everything was good, I am an R&B girl. I'm playing early 2000s, late 90s. I love Usher. I love Genuine. I love Keisha Cole. I love Mary J. Blige. That like I'm playing everybody. I'm playing them all. And of course some new stuff, but again, like I said, an old school girl 100%. And I have like a couple videos of me playing with it. Hang on, let me see if I can find it for you. But yeah, I'm playing the old school jams, brother. It's a good time over here. I'll tell you that for free.
I love that. Yeah, we would love to see some of those videos for sure. Send them out to Melanie on that. We'd love to use them as B-rolls. That's
Oh, cool. Yeah, I have it literally like right here.
cool to
That's so
share.
funny. Um,
Um,
yeah, but I love playing music. And also what I really did on set was like journal a lot. I journaled a lot when I was filming too. Because like you got to get your emotions out because otherwise you are going to be sad.
I love that. Was there anything challenging about this role? You know, this is a very intense, you know, and like because like you said it before, like it's not fiction and all that. You know what I mean? Like, was there anything challenging in this role that like kind of like got you to, I wouldn't say reevaluate your skills or anything, but like kind of like put you on a spot where you were like, hey, maybe I should, you know, take this approach or this one different approach for the scene or whatever. Like anything challenging in this role that you know that you
I
felt
mean, it
you
literally made me reevaluate my whole life. Like my whole artistry, I looked back at and I was like, how can I adjust this? You know what I mean? It was hard in the fact that it is a real person and the criteria, the material was so deep that I questioned my own abilities on like, can I do this? Can I pull this off without sounding corny? Or just it sounding not genuine. And there's a couple scenes that I look back on, I'm like, oh, I could have did better there. But again, this is the first role that I've played like this, and I did the best that I could. I did the best that I could. And it made me, as an actress, have more of a respect for my craft and the steps that the greats go through in order to achieve an Oscar-worthy, Emmy-winning performance. And when I would see actors say that they accidentally took home a character, I never fully understood what that meant because I never been through that before until this role. So it has brought a completely new perspective of acting to me. And it let me tell you, it was a roller coaster of emotions doing this. And I'm still getting used to shaking off Shayana, but I feel like she's still going to be a part of me probably forever because this was the most impactful role I've had on my entire career, in my entire career. And I mean, I wouldn't trade it for anything, but what I will do better at is prioritizing my own mental health after work, after going through something like that all day, being in a state of anxiety and, you know, intense emotions. Just really figure out how to check that.
Yeah, that's great that you mentioned that because I was going to ask actually how long you said that before, like, something like this stays with you, especially like heavy roles like these stay with
Mm.
you on time. What do you rely on to shed it a little bit, to like keep like the best of that, that experience with you, but like shed the, take care of the, mental health aspect that you just said. What do you rely on after, when the show's over and all that, and you have to like get to the new role or like get to the next chapter of your life? What's the like decompressing, I would say, process for you?
I feel like I'm still kind of like figuring that out. Oh, was that the last part of your question?
If you have a process like that you go through, or if each time is different, I don't know. You tell me.
I mean, each role is different, right? So with blind spotting, it wasn't really difficult to, let that one go because she was fun, carefree, blah, blah, blah. This one obviously is really, really different mindset. I feel like I'm still kind of trying to figure out how to let something like this go because I feel like I'm just really starting to get into my career as an actress. I've had jobs before that was a career, but this I feel like is a different kind of level for me. And I would say, as of right now, I mean, I talk to my therapist, daily almost. A little text here and there. Love her so much. Shout out to her. And my friends, I have a really great support system with my family and bubble baths. I've mentioned that a million times, but when I say those are my everything, bubble baths are my everything. Like I say, it's an experience over here. I got my candles, I have my sage, I have my aromatherapy. It's amazing. And also, listen, some junk food. I'm not gonna lie to you. Putting on some Law and Order Special Victims Unit, eating some, either my go-to is like some Chick-fil-A, some carne asada fries, or like I love a good soup. I'm not gonna lie, I love making soup. Any of those three things with Law and Order Special Victims Unit playing, I'm watching it. None of the new episodes though. I'm talking the late 90s, early 2000s episodes when, it was still the original cast. That is my unwinding process. There might need to be a few adjustments in there, but I'm working through it. It's just gonna make me a better person trying to figure it out.
I love that. We watch the same shows, and
Yeah.
I love SVU and like all kinds of crime. I like the new stuff too, but I see what you're saying about the old, the
It
old.
no, it had a completely different energy to it, and also like I'm very old school in everything in my life. So when I see these new high-tech television touch screens that they're using, it doesn't feel like Law and Order SVU. I want the chalkboard. I want the pictures placed on there and then the person X'd out. That's what I need. And I really appreciate Law and Order because they were so ahead of their time with the kind of stories they were telling, which is why I watched the old episodes because I was like, you guys got it from the beginning. When people weren't even talking about assault in the way that they were. Ugh. What's his name? Dick Wolf? Amazing man. Amazing man.
I agree 100%, which actually leads me to another question, which is you're an old school girl.
Hmm.
still look back at, for inspiration, for for people that you look up to, actors, musicians, whatever, any kind of icons that you keep, within you to grow as an actress? Do you look back to those days to keep your inspirations, to keep your inspiration out and all that type of thing? Like, who do you look up to from the old days that kind of stays with you from not only from acting, but like from the entertainment world, I would say.
Right. From the entertainment world, who do I look up to?
Fashion, music, arts, whatever. Like
Right.
one that like
There's so many different people. So for interviews, who I really love the way they carried themselves in interviews is Holly Berry. So I constantly am watching the way she carries herself. She carries herself with such elegance and lightness and ease where I'm like, ugh. But she comes across so strong and so matter of fact in what she's saying. So I really watch her for her interviews and of course her films, but mainly love her interviews. Very, very intriguing that woman is. Love you. And then for acting, Denzel Washington, he's my favorite actor. I have so much respect for him as a man, as a leader, as an actor, as a husband, as a father. My favorite movie of his is Training Day. And what I take from Denzel is I notice that in every character he plays, he is still himself. Even though the characters might be different, I still see traces of who Denzel Washington is as a man. And he's not trying to hide who he is within the role. And I love that. With Training Day and Heat. I'm sorry, not Heat. What the movie he did with Dakota Fanning when she was younger. Like I'm talking younger.
I have to look it up. I just
Okay, yeah, but we know what we're talking about here. Equalizer. If you notice his whole catalog, he's always Denzel. And I feel like I always want to be Jaylen in each character I play. Of course, with different, like, little hints and cues, but I want everybody to say she is still herself, regardless of who she's playing. And I feel like that's what makes a great actor, is putting you into the role and making it your own rather than what people think it should be. Because it's up to the audience's interpretation of what they think this character is, right? So him for acting and fashion wise, it's going to be Rihanna. I love Rihanna. I love how free she is with her style and how much of a free brand she is because she goes from left to right, up and down, and that's a woman who's authentically herself. So I follow her with the fashion trends. And um, hmm, what else? What else should I touch on? What else?
I think that pretty much covers it in terms of inspirations and everything. But is there maybe anyone that you would love to meet, work with, or like maybe somebody that you have met at parties or events or whatever that you thought, would be like a great addition to your resume in terms of, collaboration and all that, or like directors or like, or if there's any kind of like specific shows or production that you would like to venture in, you know what I mean? There, in your next chapter, like what would you like to do next? You know what I'm saying?
I'd love to play like a really fun role on Euphoria. I feel like I would do well on that show. I think I would do it on that show. I don't know what kind of character I would play, but I would be whatever they wanted me to be. I would like to be a character on Euphoria. I also feel like a really good collaboration, we would work well together. I do think me and Zendaya would work really well together. I feel like our personalities would mesh for sure. Um, and I also really want to like be behind the scenes on a project like Handmaid's Tale. I'd want to not necessarily be in it. It'd be great if I was in it, but I want to start to do a project where I'm like behind the scenes and I'm just the puppeteer on like what message we want to convey and get across to the world.
I love that, which
I
I think
love all the spooky stuff.
nice, nice. I like that. No, that made me think. I have a couple more things that I'd like to touch on real quick
Mhm.
about you being like the industry. Like, how does it, like you wanting to be behind the scenes and all that type of thing. Um, what do you think the status of the industry is right now? There's been a lot of like, the strikes and like, the writers have to say their part and like there's been a lot of going on, right? What do you think the status of the entertainment world is right now? This industry. Is there anything that you think should be changed, should be, addressed, any issues, or you know what I mean? Like how do you navigate this whole issue? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, there's a lot of flaws in any workspace, right? Um, but what I think that we all need to keep in mind is that humans need jobs. And we don't need machines to or computers to write scripts for us because I feel like there's nothing that can compare to human spirit and a human soul and a human experience. So no matter how good I feel like an AI technology can be, it'll still never be as perfect as a person with real love and a real mind and a real soul putting their all into some work. And what I would like to see is us holding on to that and still putting real people on camera. And like it could look great, it could look so close to it, but I feel like I'll forever want to see a person's eyes twinkle when they see somebody that they love. And that is such a small moment that I feel like can't be captured by something fake. It can't be. There's no possible way because it doesn't have a brain and it doesn't have a heart. And it's never been in love before like us. And it's never been hurt and heartbroken and gone through grief the way we have. So to find something that you love, you have a certain twinkle. And I just want to make sure that everybody has a job still. And it's really scary right now for writers and directors and producers and actors because it could replace everything, and not only in our space, but in real life at the grocery store. I love human interaction, and I just hope and pray that we can hold on to that as a community so that way we don't become so codependent on something else that's kind of controlling us in a way and manipulating us online every single day. And no disrespect because there are some positives to it, but art, I don't think it should touch. I don't think it should touch art. And I just hope that we're able to put a pause to that, if not a stop to that taking over in the workspace. It makes people's jobs easier, but I feel like the whole human experience is to go through difficulties and to fail because it makes you who you are. If you're dependent on this thing writing this paper for you or whatever, how are you going to learn? It's just too easy. I don't like things that are too easy. I like competition.
I love that.
So, yeah, keeps you sharp. So that's what I'm hoping happens with the industry. And then also bring back rom-coms. I'm talking, How to Lose a Man in 10 Days, Brown Sugar, The Best Man. I haven't seen a rom-com like that in years because I always rewatch the old ones. Like I said, I'm an old school lady. But, like I want to watch something that gives me that same feeling that 13 Going on 30 first gave me when I watched it. I'm like, where is that at? Where is that kind of idea at? Ugh, great
That's,
movie.
and that's an American staple too. Like it's a very like
Hmm.
it's an American way of like showing the world. Like growing up in Italy, like we didn't have that type of thing.
Hmm.
Like there were like kind of like spin-offs of that type of stuff in Italian, which is not as it's a different type of culture and all that. So I
It's a different feeling, right? Like a Miss Congeniality too, like amazing. Sandra Bullock is somebody that I would love to work with too, by the way, to go back on that.
I love that. Let me close with this. You have this is very enlightening to know everything about you and all that type of thing. But obviously, I'm sure you know. I mean, you obviously live your notoriety and in your own way. But actors these days, like they have followers. There's Instagram, there's TikTok. That you know what I mean? Like it's not just like red carpets, but like fans go and like paparazzi be their favorite actors.
Mm.
Uh, how do you interact with your following? Like is it all like like is it only like positive feedback? If there's Are there people there that like they're trolling you? Are there like what kind of interaction do you have with people that follow you online? And what kind of vibe are they giving you? Like, do they keep you inspired? Like, do they keep you kind of like sharp in terms of like, getting to your next role or whatever? Like, what's your relationship with the digital fans? You know what I mean?
That's a good question. So first off, I will say that I'm definitely the kind of person that likes to go to work and go home. I post my pictures and then I log off Instagram. it gives me a lot of anxiety to even post something or have to keep up with something because it doesn't feel authentic or organic with who I am. Unfortunately, now it is a part of like our entire system of living. And I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of that, but I feel like I've had great interactions with fans. I mean, I like to guess that people like me or love me. That's what I like. I rather assume that in the real world because you can turn off the internet and have a good day. You know what I mean? Like you might make your day bad by looking online. So I try to avoid certain things like that. Because again, this is the real world. You know, the fans who come up to me and engage with me, who recognize me when I'm out, that's what I take value in. I don't take any value in the people who are talking poorly about my performance and something I just did because I could delete your comment and you don't exist anymore. I could block you, you know? Like so this is not it's not the real world to me. If they were to see me in person, I guarantee you they would tell me how much they like me. They wouldn't tell me to my face that they didn't like this or that. They wouldn't. So, um, I love my fans and I love the people that love me and the people who come up to me. I always encourage that. I rather have that than you messaging me because I'm not going to see it. But, you know, the real world is what matters to me.
Lovely. Well, speaking of the real world, let's close with actually this uh, little question. What was the best advice that you ever gotten, or the most like uplifting thing that ever happened to you that made you want to be who you are? You know what I mean? From the real world, like, you know, from a family member, from a friend, or whatever. Like, was there an episode in your life that kind of like, you know, like marked your artistic being? You know what I mean? Like a like piece of advice, like a mentor that told you something that stuck with you. I don't know, like anything
Hmm.
real world that, you know, from your actual life that, you know, kept you, that you still remember to this day, that kept you inspired and, uh,
I would say what keeps me inspired and what I have always wanted was to show my family a side of life that they haven't been able to experience before. You know, and my family has given me an amazing life, a great life, but I know what there is out there and I know that I'm capable of getting it. And that's what makes me want to keep going and be more successful. So that way I could show them this side of the world that generations before us have never gotten to experience. Because they didn't come from a lot of money, you know, nor did I come from a whole bunch of money. So to be able to take them on a boat or take them even something as small as like staying in a really nice hotel and then going to an amusement park or whatever feels like, okay, I'm making progress to where I can show them that they're special. I just want to show my family that they're special and that they can have this. Yeah. So that's really what keeps me going. Um, and also just the love I have for being in front of the camera and just existing there, you know? Um, doing jobs that make me feel happy. And I felt like I got to exercise a certain part of me that I never was able to before. That's also what keeps me engaged with acting and going. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes it's hard because you get a million and one no's before you get a yes. But again, I also love the competition of it. So when I do book that job, it's a feeling that I can't even describe. Like I won a game. I won the prize in the game against 1,000 people, and it was me. And that feels really good. And nobody really talks about that competitive side of acting, but I know people like that feeling. And you know, when you get that no, it only makes the yes feel that much better, honestly.